Hey, this is Smiles here with a new review. Today, let's take a look at Sly Cooper's latest heist, Sly Cooper Thieves in Time for the PS3 and the PS Vita. After an 8-year hiatus, Sly and the gang are back, ready to steal anything they can grab their hands on. Thieves in Time is the first Sly Cooper game not developed by Sucker Punch, but rather Sanzaru Games. At first, I was a little hesitant. I once played a Ratchet & Clank game not developed by Insomniac, and it was horrible. However, Sanzaru Games were the ones behind the Sly Cooper HD remakes, so that helped put some of my fears at ease. But could Sanzaru deliver on one of my most beloved video game series? The story of Thieves in Time takes place right after Sly 3. Considering the last game was released back in 2005, Thieves in Time gives enough background to catch veterans and newcomers up to speed. Sly, faking his own amnesia, has been dating Inspector Carmelita Fox for a while. Meanwhile, Bentley noticed something peculiar happening to the Thievius Raccoonus. The words are literally lifting off the pages. Sensing a disturbance in the time-space continuum, Sly, Bentley, and Murray reunite and travel back in time to right wrongs. The story features crazy plot twists, hilarious one-liners, punny jokes, and awkward situations. I was not only excited that Thieves in Time brought back the 2D animated cutscenes, but they really revamped them. The animation enhances the Saturday morning cartoon feel of the Sly Cooper series, and is definitely one of the high points of this game. Thieves in Time lets you play as one of 5 characters: Sly, Bentley, Murray, Carmelita Fox, and the Cooper ancestor from that time period. While it might seem confusing to learn how to play as 5 different characters, it's actually a lot more intuitive than you'd expect. Furthermore, for most of the game, you'll be playing as Sly anyways. The game is divided up into missions. You first start off at the hideout and select a character with an icon on top of their head. They go out into the main hub world and receive their mission. You then complete it and go back to the hideout. Lather, rinse, and repeat. However, the missions aren't as straightforward as you'd think. For instance, the mission might start off with Murray wailing on enemies until he gets stuck. You then play as Sly and have to open up a path for Murray to continue. You never quite know what you'll encounter on the field, which gives a good amount of variety in gameplay. With all the platforming and climbing involved, it's important that a Sly Cooper game has good level design, and for the most part, Thieves in Time does that. The main hub worlds are quite fun to explore. Most of the time, I find myself using about 20 minutes just roaming around and pickpocketing enemies before I actually sit down and start the main mission. There's a wide amount of unlockable and Easter eggs that give more of an incentive to just go out and explore, but don't necessarily affect the game. The stealth elements aren't as tough as games like Hitman Absolution, but are still quite fun. Another big part of the game is unlocking new costumes for Sly in each time period. For instance, the Archer costume allows Sly to shoot arrows. The most disappointing aspect of the costumes is that there is no overlap when you go to another time period. You might have used the samurai costume in Japan, but you'll never call upon its abilities to avoid fire in another world. You'll pretty much start from scratch when entering a new world, and scrape any previously learned skills. As far as the challenge is concerned, Thieves in Time isn't necessarily easy, but instead forgiving when you make mistakes. During missions, you might notice a blue circle appear in the bottom left of the screen. That's when the game is saving a mini checkpoint in case you miss time to jump or are stupid enough to run into spikes 3 times in a row. These mini checkpoints even appear during boss battles. If you die on the second phase, you will start the fight from where you left off with full health. These checkpoints come up quite frequently, so there isn't much of a punishment for making mistakes. Here's my final verdict on Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. Story gets a 9. The animated cutscenes and hilarious situations give it that Saturday morning cartoon feel. The story's great because it doesn't take itself seriously. On that note, presentation gets a 9 as well. Like story, it doesn't take itself seriously and only enhances the cartoony nature of Sly Cooper. Gameplay gets an 8. Thieves in Time does a great job of including a variety of gameplay, while still maintaining the focus on Sly. At times, however, the game gives too much pity to the player, and the lack of bringing back previously learned skills is disappointing. Design gets an 8. The worlds are expansive, which makes exploration quite fun. Replay value gets a 7.5. There are plenty of unlockables, but they don't necessarily make much of an impact in game. Furthermore, the game takes about 15 hours to complete. Overall, I give Sly Cooper Thieves in Time an 8.3. It's a tough balance, but Zazaru games successfully introduced new elements while maintaining the core aspect of Sly Cooper.